Hello guys. All right, welcome to episode 1 of Spark of the Youth podcast. You were listening to Youth from Daughter. I love that song. I love a couple other songs, and if you guys don't know it, then you should listen to it. It's really nice. All right, so episode 1. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Crystal. I'm 22 years old. I made this podcast for those of us in our 20s because a lot of people say that in your 20s, you go through so many things, you feel so lost, you feel like you're not doing things right. Are you on the right path to set up for your 30s and on? You don't feel as good as you did before you turned 20 because you were in school, so kind of had a little bit of purpose to your life, even if you didn't want to be in school. I know, not everybody wants to be in school, middle school and stuff like that, but we had that little bit of purpose in our life. We had homework, we had art class, we had music class, we had stuff like that. We had teachers who were there for us, whether, we noticed or not. I'm a teacher myself, so I have to stick up for all the teachers out there. I feel like once we graduate high school, whether we go to college or not, some of us who don't go to college tend to feel lost, tend to feel like, should I have gone to college? What am I going to do with my life? What can I achieve? Where can I go from here? And it's okay. It's okay to not go to college. College is not for everyone, and whoever says that it is whatever. Most of the time, the people who say college is for everyone probably haven't even gone to college. Even some people I know, they're like, oh, don't stop going to college, this and that, but they haven't even gone to college themselves. And I know it's part of their thing that they want us to go to college because they want us to be better than what they did or who they were, or something like that. But at the same time, things are different now. It's not the same generation. It's not the same economy. It's not the same anything. So I feel like no one has a say in what you want to do but yourself. So that's that. If you haven't gotten a chance to follow my social media for the podcast, please do so. I made a page on Facebook. It's the name Spark of the Youth podcast. I'm pretty sure I sent out, everybody invitation so you can like it. But if you haven't gotten it, again, it's Spark of the Youth podcast. I got, I think, 50 something likes in the first day, so it makes me really happy that you guys want to support me. Thank you so much. And on Instagram, it's Spark Youth Podcast. It's also on my personal Instagram, Crystal Light, which I'll be probably changing soon because I'm tired of that name. But yeah, so follow, and give feedback. I want to know what you guys think on the podcast. Every week I'm going to try, well, I'm not going to try, I am going to post. I'm going to post every Friday, so stay tuned for those. I'll post on the Instagram, I'll post on the Facebook, probably everywhere else, so you'll be able to find it. If you need another recap on what the podcast will be about, if you haven't already read it through social media, I'm going to read off my Instagram. My description is, we are breaking the stigma for those of us who are overcoming the hurdle of our 20s. So I'm going to be talking about topics of depression and anxiety, young parents, the loss of a child or multiple children, the loss of a loved one. Maybe some of you have lost your parents or somebody who was close to you. Relationships, toxic relationships, good relationships, any relationships, friendships, early marriages. I know some people in their 20s are married, and we definitely want to hear from you because we want you to teach us. I know us in our 20s in this generation, we have a desire for happiness and for stability and everything. Absent parents. Yeah, that's a big one. Feeling lost after college. I haven't experienced this yet because I'm still in college, but I know a couple of my friends who have graduated. They feel like, man, nobody is hiring me for what I got my degree in. What the heck? So yeah, you can feel lost after that. And maybe some of you are feeling lost, and, you'll hear about somebody's experience and you're like, yeah, I'm there too, And, definitely more things. It's not just going to be all sad, so don't worry. You won't be tuning in for crying and sadness every time. So, yeah, definitely. I do have an idea for Chris, who's my boyfriend. If you guys don't know, they call us Chris and Chris, which is kind of funny. I don't even know who made that up, but I like it. So we want to do this kind of like fun episode with another couple. So if there's another couple out there who's been together maybe around 2 years, let me know, DM me or whatever, text me if you have my number. We want to do like a little thing, like a trivia episode where which couple knows each other best and get some points and, make it fun. And then we'll kind of do like a Q&A for each other, how the other couple handles a situation versus how him and I would handle a situation or something like that. And it'll be kind of like it'll be fun, but it'll be a learning session as well, Maybe they go about arguments differently than we do, and maybe they can pick up something off of us, and we can pick up something off of them. Everything together, so that'll be a fun one. I want to have a lot of guests in here, so if you feel like you want to share anything regarding the topics that I've talked about, please do. I would love to have you in here. So, kind of setting the mood for, I guess, this podcast or the tone or whatever. It is a rainy day. And I'm inside, obviously, and I'm gonna be going to work soon, so I just wanted to record my podcast here. Very busy all the time, so that's why I'm gonna record the podcast on Wednesdays and have it uploaded by Fridays. I mean, if I can record it, earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, I will, but usually I'm off Wednesdays, so that's how it's gonna work. Continuing in our first topic of podcast 1. Today's topic or topics will be toxic relationships and finding yourself. Well, that can be difficult for a lot of us. I know that one hits home for me because I was in a couple toxic relationships. And then what toxic relationships do is they make you feel like, are you doing anything right? Or even, are you the toxic one in the relationship? I mean, that happens in some cases, Sometimes you are the toxic one. But if you find yourself in a toxic relationship and you finally find your way out of that hole, then there's another process that begins, which is finding yourself again, because in a toxic relationship, you're doing everything for the other person. You're doing everything to accommodate their feelings, to make sure they don't get hurt about something, to make sure maybe something that makes them happy and doesn't quite make you happy, but makes them feel a little better. Sorry about the little clank in the back. I just hit something. I'm clumsy, if you guys know me. So the first thing is, how do we know we're in a toxic relationship? What if we're content, or what if we're just maybe used to the abuse? Not always physical, just emotional, stuff like that. There are red flags you can catch. There's plenty of red flags, but sometimes we get comfortable with those red flags and maybe we feel like, is this love, if we haven't felt that love before? So, number 1. How to tell if you're in a toxic relationship. So, of course, you start a new relationship, whether it's a friendship or, a loving relationship. Of course, they're going to start off nice and very sweet and, oh, you're so beautiful and this and blah, blah, blah. And then slowly, they will wear away at your sense of self. They're going to kind of like be like a leech and, I guess, shape you to be how they want you to be. They're going to kind of take you and just say, oh yeah, I love you, and I love that you have that habit. I love that you do this and that, but they're not really going to like it. They're going to say that, and then they're going to try to be like, later on in a couple months, they're just going to be like, oh, you should do it this way, or they might get an attitude and just be like, can you stop doing that? Like, maybe they at first say, oh, you have such a great laugh and blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, can you stop laughing like that? Like, we don't want that. That's when they start wearing away your own self, You have your own laugh. You have your own habits. You have the things that they, quote unquote, fell for you for. So don't let them change that. There's a quote I was reading that says, when someone has their boundaries continually changed and crossed, especially when they have made it very clear that it's not comfortable for them, that would be a huge red flag, because to me that indicates the other partner doesn't have a regard for that person's boundaries. And from there continues to a list of symptoms of a toxic relationship. I keep running into this word, stonewalling. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but I haven't. It might be an obvious word, but I have not heard of it. So I looked it up, and it's to delay or block a request, process, or person by refusing to answer questions or by giving evasive replies, especially in politics, but it can be in other things too. So I kept running into this word in every article I was reading: stonewall, or stonewalling. A toxic relationship can range from stonewalling to just emotional manipulation to physical abuse. It can be anywhere, but I just kept running into that word, and it was kind of interesting because it's just like you can have your creative thinking process, or maybe you want to do things a certain way, and they're stonewalling you, delaying or blocking, or refusing to answer your questions or anything like that. That maybe you're like, hey, can we do something like this today, or can we do something like that, or can we try new things, and they're maybe ignoring you or trying to get you to do things their way, like completely ignoring your question and just saying like, oh, let's do this today or something like that. I guess that's stonewalling, huh? So back to these steps or symptoms to tell if you're in a toxic relationship. So the first one would be walking on eggshells. Pretty sure everybody has heard of that phrase or saying or whatever. And it's not always threatening or violent. It can mean you just don't want to share your opinions with your partner because you don't know how they're going to react. It's not always like, oh, I don't want to say this because, he might hit me or he might do this. And that falls into a whole nother category. Not just toxic, but domestic violence. And we'll have a whole nother episode on that. So I'm not going to get into that right now. But as I was saying, it doesn't always mean physically threatening or violent. It can just feel like you're scared to share your opinions because you're just nervous that your partner's reaction is just gonna be like kind of crappy. Maybe you have a good idea and they just kind of turn your idea down, or maybe you want to plan something different and they're just like, that sucks, or they just make you feel bad, and you just kind of find yourself feeling dumb about things, I guess. And then that leads to you dumbing things down so your partner can feel smart, or so they can feel like the big person or anything like that. Even in friendships, it doesn't have to be just a boyfriend girlfriend thing. That's a red flag right there. If you find yourself giving new ideas, or maybe trying to spark a relationship, or maybe telling your friend you want to go somewhere and they're just turning your ideas down, or yeah, that's dumb, or something like that. Maybe I would try to talk to them a little bit, ask them, why they think your idea is dumb. And if they kind of ignore you and just go into the next subject, then that's not a good sign. But if they actually try to talk to you about it, maybe it's worth a chance, to keep talking about it. That's a good sign that they're actually willing to break that conversation down and talk to you. Because if they have that like toxic trait feeling, they're not going to want to talk to you. They're just going to kind of overstep your conversation or your idea, anything. All right, number 2. So another one, you would start feeling uneasy around your partner, physically, emotionally, anything. This one gets me because I never had anxiety. I've always had depression it's been 12 years. I've been going through this, but, getting better by the day. But I never had like panic attacks or really bad anxiety until I was in my last relationship. Whenever I got around the person, I always felt like I was going to get yelled at, or I was going to get in trouble for something or anything like that. And you shouldn't feel like that. you shouldn't feel, worried to go around your partner and be like, are they going to yell at me for this day? Or are they going to do this? Or, always making sure something's right because of that. Your body is going to tell you what you do and don't like. Just the same way as if you eat something bad, your body's going to, your stomach, like anything, you're going to throw up. You're not going to like it. Your body's going to react to that. If something's in your eye's going to start tearing. If you're stressed, your hair will fall out. Having those physical issues like dizziness or just chest pains, or maybe you can't breathe or anything like that, that's that sign right there. That's your body trying to get your attention to tell you, I don't feel good. I don't feel okay about this situation. And if you're getting that feeling and you're thinking about somebody or a friend, a partner, a coworker, anybody, family member, and they're coming to your mind, that's that sign. You need to give them the boot or talk about a conversation. Start a conversation to fix the problem. And like I was saying before, if they're not trying to engage in that conversation, then that's your sign right there. If they try, then they're trying, and you might be able to, fix that. You might be able to talk about it and mend that together. Another step will be you're always fighting. That's an obvious light switch right there. If you're constantly meeting up with somebody and you're constantly running into a misunderstanding or, anything like that you guys are always constantly arguing, then that's not a good sign. As a couple grows together and they, start learning things about each other, even friendships, anything, then there should be progress towards understanding, more understanding and less misunderstanding. If you have poor communication skills, then that's not going to improve the situation. A relationship can't really move forward without communication. So if you're always arguing, try to sit down and just take a pause, or maybe step away from the situation and ask yourself, why are we even arguing about this situation? What's really the problem that's going on right now? Why are we fighting about the same thing over and over? Or why is this happening again? I go through that even sometimes with my partner, but I am one to pull away for a second. He is as well. So if we get into a small argument or anything like that, one of us will either pull away or just stop and ask, what are we even arguing about? What is the problem here? What is the point? And we don't really yell at each other, and we don't fight. We kind of just talk to each other, but that'll kind of be angry talking, obviously. But one of us will stop, mostly me, because after a while my brain just can't focus. So after a while I just really just ask him, what are we even arguing about? And if he can't answer the question, then that means it wasn't even important to begin with. And if it is important, he'll most of the time remember. He'll be like, I'm trying to get to you about this, or I'm trying to talk to you about this, or the other way around. I'll tell him the same thing. I'm trying to talk to you about this and that and that. And then I bring up my points. I say what I'm trying to get across to him, and then we'll go from there without all the extra stuff that we were just trying to lead into before it got worse. We kind of just take a pause, take a breather, say our points of what we're trying to get across, and maybe go from there. Another sign would be everything is super dramatic, super extra all the time, which is not always a bad thing as long as there's no physical, assaults or anything going on. It's not really a bad thing, but there's a lot of couples who, when we're in it, and we're getting louder, or, your hands are going everywhere, and you might say the wrong word that you didn't mean to say, or anything like that. But, it happens, I guess. In my opinion, this is just me, so I'm not telling anybody to go by this, but in my opinion, I'm one to think what you say in anger is what you really mean to say. So if I hear something, if I hear a name, if I hear you call me a name, or if I hear you say something disrespectful to me while you're mad, I'm going to take that as you've been holding that in for a while. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but I am. A lot of people just kind of brush it off and say, you were angry. I'm not really going to listen to what you said. But I am not one of those people. But yeah, as long as there's no, hitting or pushing or throwing drinks on each other or something like that, then, it's perfectly okay to use your whatever flying colors of words and craziness. But you are going to be at higher risk for divorce, actually. Try to, or I should say, don't try to call your partner, bad names or anything like that. Like anything that would probably hurt their feelings. Nobody likes to be called out their name. Just be mindful. Be mindful of your partner. Be mindful of things that you wouldn't want done to yourself, and try to reflect that on somebody else. If you wouldn't want somebody to call you out of your name, then don't do that to somebody else, if you know how that feels. So, continuing, another sign, I guess, is your partner might want you all to themselves. This one is a very touchy one. Maybe you're a person who has tons of friends and you like to go, mingle, and you like to go out. You love doing activities. You love being outside. But today your partner says no. Today your partner says, stay in the house with me and just do this. And maybe you're okay with that. Maybe you're like, yeah, let's be in the house today. I love this. But maybe you find yourself staying in all the time, and you're constantly ditching your friends, and you're constantly leaving them to the side, and maybe you want to hang with them and your partner says no, or maybe later down the road they're telling you stop talking to that person. Don't let them tell you to stop talking to people, because those are your friends. I mean, if they're not disrespecting you or your relationship in any way, then there should be no problem. And again, that's where communication comes in. If they have a problem with one of your friends or a problem with you hanging with someone, ask them why. What's bothering them about that? If you have a certain friend. Of course, there's going to be the small problem of female and male friend and vice versa. So ask your partner. Ask them, why don't you want me hanging with my friend? Or what's wrong with them? Or did they do something? Or did I do something to offend you? Something like that. Maybe that'll help better understand the situation before they just try to cut off that person that you're hanging with or your friend or something. Another good one is, again, the word pops up, your partner stonewalling. So maybe you can talk about things with your partner, but you should be able to talk about anything, not just certain things. You gotta talk about important things, about small things in your day, not just what should we eat today or what are we watching on Netflix tonight, So if you find that you're trying to talk to your partner about moving things forward, maybe buying a new house or moving to a new place or anything like that, and they kind of just brush it off and they don't really want to talk about it or anything like that, then there's a problem in there. You should be able to discuss the issues or any huge problem, anything. And you have to talk about it. You have to talk about why don't they want to talk about that with you. And again, if they walk away, then there's your answer, pretty much. You've been dating this guy and you're like, are we going to, be together, or what's our plans here? We've been, dating for a while. Should we maybe move things along and, try to move forward into a, relationship? And what if he disappears for a couple days? And that's your sign right there. Like, do you really want to be with this person that you're going to talk to, and they're just going to walk away when they don't feel like dealing with the problem? No, you have to communicate. You have to talk to each other, and that's how things work. You have to fix the problem. If you're walking away from every situation, then the problem is not fixed. It's just going to stay there, and it's just going to bottle up. You're going to feel really bad about it. The other person's not really going to care. Then you're going to get mad that the other person doesn't care. And then it's a whole chain of toxic. Another big problem is that it's the issue of power in a relationship. You might be finding yourself playing a tug-of-war with your partner or friend or anything about power or control or anything like that. I don't really like to call it control, because you don't really want to control anybody. But it's more about, it's not even about power. It's kind of more so decision making. I guess I can call it. If you're kind of, you have that person that's always making like, oh, I made plans for us today, or we're going here this weekend, or I'm taking you to this place, or things like that without even asking you, and they do that all the time, then that's going to cause a problem. That's going to make you feel powerless. Or if that's you that's doing it to the other person, that's going to make them feel powerless. And it's different for men and women. For me, I'm not really a feminist. I'm very old-fashioned. I'm not for, we have equal this and that and that. I like for my man to be the man of the house. I like for him to make decisions, and I like for him to kind of give the okay for things, but he does still talk to me about things before he does so. He does still make sure I'm okay with it, and that's a big thing for me. As long as he makes sure I'm okay with it, then that's okay for me. But if you're constantly making decisions for yourself and the other person without even asking them how they feel about it or anything like that, that's going to make them feel so powerless. That's going to make you guys feel like you're on a seesaw, and maybe the weight is just not shifting, it's just on one side, and you're just sitting there kind of like, well, why doesn't he ever ask me if I like to do that? Or why doesn't she ever want to tell me this and that and that? You kind of want to keep it even. If you're going to make plans, ask the other person, do you like this idea? Do you want to do something else? Even for small things, like, I guess, even getting food. There's so many couples out there, of course, us in our 20s. Our boyfriends, here's the joke, our boyfriends will ask us what we want to eat, and apparently we never know, but my theory is that our boyfriends ask us what we want to eat because they never know what they want to eat. So they are expecting us to know what we want to eat so that they can know too. So that's my little theory. Ask your boyfriend. If he asks you, what do you want to eat today? Ask him what he wants to eat. Switch it around, and I bet you he'll say, I don't know. And there you go. See, why do men come at us? Because we never know what we want to eat. I feel like it's because we want to eat everything. I don't know. For me, it's just I'm in the mood for this. I'm in the mood for that. I'm in the mood for anything. But yeah, another thing would feel, I guess you'd feel like you didn't sign up for this. If you're in a relationship and you feel like I did not sign up for this, then that's your big red flag right there in your face. If you're starting to feel like this is not how I used to be, and this is not what I signed up for, this does not feel good anymore, then your relationship took a pretty turn. It took a pretty bad turn. And maybe try to talk to your partner about, why does it feel like this? Why do I feel like this all the time? It's important to talk to your partner and be very raw and open. You shouldn't beat around the bush, because if you feel a certain type of way and you're beating around the bush with your partner, they're not going to know how you feel, and they're kind of just going to brush it off. So you have to tell them, like, you know what? I'm not happy. I'm starting to feel like this and this and this. And I'm starting to feel like you don't pull your weight in this, or maybe I feel like you don't love me, or maybe you don't show me enough affection, or maybe you're always putting me down. That conversation needs to be had. You should never feel like your partner's putting you down for anything, especially if you're trying to do new things or trying to reach some goals or go for a new job or anything like that, and they're telling you, I don't think you're gonna get that job, or yeah, that's a good plan, but I don't think it's gonna go so well. Your partner should be lifting you up for any little thing you have. I can say, for example, for me in this podcast, I was so excited about this, but honestly, I didn't even think you guys would support me this much or even care to listen or anything. But my boyfriend, he just laughed, and I'm like, why are you laughing? Is it funny? Like, is it a joke? And he's like, no, I'm laughing because I know you're ambitious, and I know when you want to do things, you're gonna do it, and I know you do so many things, and it just makes me smile, and that felt really good for me, because it makes me feel like he believes in me for what I want to do, and he knows when I'm ambitious about something, I'm definitely gonna push for it. I'm gonna do it. But yeah, so those are just some signs of how you're in a toxic relationship, how you know you're in a toxic relationship, and how to feel that. And if you're feeling any of those things, step one is communication. Communication is the biggest thing of them all. You need to talk to your partner. You need to talk to your friend. Hey, I don't feel good. Hey, I feel this way. Hey, you're making me feel this way around you. I feel scared. I feel this and that. And depending on the person, they can either react really bad or it can open up a door for a conversation and maybe you guys can grow from there. But it all depends on the person. It all depends how mature they are and what they're going to say to it. So that concludes the first half of the podcast. I'm going to do like a mini 30-second, 40-second break of my cover of Breathin' by Ariana Grande, and I'll be back to do the second half. Enjoy.
Just take way too much of my energy. I look up and the whole room's spinning. You take my cares away. I get so overcomplicated. People tell me to medicate. Feel my blood running, sweat, the sky's falling. How do I know if it's fabricated? Time goes by and I can't control my mind. Don't know what else to try, but you tell me every time. Just keep breathing and breathing and breathing and breathing. I know I gotta keep on breathing. Just keep breathing and breathing and breathing and breathing. I know I gotta keep on breathing.
And that concludes our mini break. I hope you guys went to the bathroom, got some snacks, anything like that. We're going to get into our second half, which is finding yourself again. Maybe finding yourself after this toxic relationship, or maybe even just after losing yourself and not giving enough time to yourself. If you want to hear the rest of that cover, I will probably post the link or post it somewhere. I do have some covers up on this page that I use for recording, so now let's get into this topic about finding yourself again. Oh my goodness. Losing yourself is so scary because you kind of want to go for things. You want to do things that are fun or that you remember being fun, but now you've built up this anxiety and this maybe depression from just not feeling like yourself after so long. So you don't even know what you like anymore, and it's hard. But there are steps we can do to help us find who we once were, and what we like to do, you know. So step one, remember what you love to do and go try and do it again. Remember what it was that you liked. Remember how you went out, or maybe you didn't go out. Maybe you stayed in and you like to play games, and maybe you don't play games anymore. Maybe just going out with your friends or having a drink or anything like that. Just remember it and do it. Just try to go and have fun. Try to lose sight of how crazy the world is and find that spot where you were happy in your life and you know you can be happy again. We make a lot of excuses about money, about babysitters, about not having the time, about things like that. It's time to not make any more excuses about these things. If you have a kid and you don't have a sitter, then this is your new life to begin with anyway, so you might as well find things that you and your kid like to do. Things that are fun. You guys can go out. You guys can paint together. There's so many things you can do. Whether it's having a money issue, then just do something that you know you can stay home and do. Or maybe you can go with a friend to their house, or, you know, just hang out, maybe listen to music, talk about how you feel, or anything like that. It doesn't have to be something like, let's go to Six Flags and spend crazy money so I can feel better. And it doesn't have to be like that. You can literally do the smallest things, arts and crafts, or even just go buy a bottle of wine or whatever and relax. And if you're female, go and have a girl's day, do your nails at home or something like that. And if you're a guy, I don't know what guys do, so have fun with that. From my perspective, the guys around me like to play video games, and they like to just drink Coronas and talk about random things. If you like playing Pokemon cards or whatever, I don't really know. I'm not into that stuff. I'm a musician, so I don't do any of that. But whatever you like to do, go do it. Have fun. Don't make excuses. Next thing is to go on an adventure, take a trip, whether it's a day or maybe a weekend or a drive or whatever. I know some people who just pack up stuff in their car and they literally just drive. They're away for a week and they're driving across wherever. End up in Maryland or end up even further, Virginia. I don't know. But maybe you should do that. Maybe you just need that time and, maybe take a friend with you. Take the right friend. Don't take the toxic friend or the friend that doesn't really care about you. They talk about you behind your back. Don't take the boring friend that will just say, yeah, I'm cool with whatever. Go ahead. Let's go. No. Take somebody who's going to actually give you ideas, who's going to make you have fun, who's going to make you stay positive. Or if you just want to be by yourself, go by yourself. Who cares? Take that glass of wine or bottle of wine, and whatever. Take some snacks or anything and go on a retreat. Go on an adventure. Take that time to drive around. Take pictures of the different cities you go through or the different states or anything. Go visit a museum. Take that time, for yourself. It's a self battle at the same time, because if you are a little damaged, maybe you are a little depressed or suffering from anxiety, and your heart is telling you you want to go to these places, but your mind is telling you you don't know what you're doing, or relax, you just want to stay in bed. Fight that. Fight yourself. Fight your brain and tell your brain, hello, I'm doing this today. I'm going to go on an adventure. I'm going to go pass by 3 states and take 3 pictures in each state. Make some goals for yourself when you're going out. Even if you're, from Jersey like me, and maybe you go to Philly a lot, or maybe you're driving to New York for some reason or something. Go drive to Philly like you'd usually do, but make it a point to take a picture of 3 new things. Maybe something simple like that will help. And that's setting your mind up for the point to find 3 new things. Maybe you've been in Philly so many times already and you're like, I'm not going to find 3 new things. That means if you've been in Philly a lot, then just drive around until you find 3 things that you never noticed before and be like, whoa, I didn't see that there, or whatever, new restaurant, whatever. Go try an appetizer at a new restaurant. Do something new. If you need to break out of your shell, do that. Another step you can take is reconnecting with yourself and reconnecting with your dreams. Dreams are important, and you need to dream big, no matter what you feel. Maybe you feel like you're never going to be able to do something like that, but maybe you can take that dream and modify it a little bit to your life. Maybe you're saying, I had a kid and I can't do these things anymore. Well, modify that dream. And how can you put your kid there in that dream that you have and keep going for it with them by your side? That's your new best buddy, your new partner. So you can't just give up your dreams. Your kid is supposed to push you to do your dreams, to go for them even more, and they're going to help you eventually when they get older. They're going to support you, and you're just going to feel a love that you've never felt. Apparently, I've heard this. I'm not a mom, so I don't know. But every mom that I speak to says these things to me, and I'm just like, that's beautiful. I can't wait for that. But yeah, go grab a journal, write your dreams down, maybe goals, anything like that, and try to modify them if you need to, or if you can still do them, then just do them. Expand your comfort zone. It is time to get uncomfortable by trying new things and meeting new people. I don't care how comfortable you are in the same circle. I don't care how comfortable you are going to the same places. It's time to be uncomfortable. And I know we're trying to say the opposite of that. We don't want to feel uncomfortable in things. But in this situation, we want to feel very uncomfortable. We want to go to a place and feel like, oh my gosh, I want to sit in a corner. And that's our anxiety speaking to us. So don't let that happen. Don't stay inside your bubble. Break or pop that bubble and get out and go experience new things. Grow and evolve. This is what you are as a human. This is why you're here. This is why God made you, so that you can grow and you can learn new things and keep going. What's the first thing that came to mind for you? If you're thinking of something you want to do right now, go do it or modify it. No excuses. If it's bungee jumping, go bungee jumping. If you want to try skydiving, go skydive. If you want to go to a trampoline park and you've been feeling like, oh, I might break my ankles in there, go do it anyways. That's one of my fears, because I'm clumsy. I will break my ankles anywhere. You cannot stay doing the same things over and over, talking to the same people over and over, especially if you're trying to date new people. You have to talk to new people. You're never going to find the one or somebody that you're going to move forward with if you keep talking to the same exact people you were. Obviously, it hasn't worked for the past times you've been talking to them or the past years, so it's not going to work now. So meet new people, go do new things. And remember, you can literally do anything you want. Don't ever limit yourself. Another thing is to listen. So we talk a lot. I know I talk a lot. So a thing we need to try to do is maybe get quiet and just listen. Listen to the things around you. Listen to the radio. Listen to those commercials that you skip or things like that. They might have something that you want to hear, or maybe they're talking about a new place or a new program or something like that you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was there. Maybe I should try that. So just listen to those things that you maybe ignore. You never know. Like maybe the guide to help you move forward is in the billboard on the street that you see, or not literally on the street, but it'll be, wherever. Or maybe it'll be the thought that comes to you while you're in the shower, while you're washing your hair, or maybe you just gave somebody a ride somewhere and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do this next. I know what just came to my head. For me, it was this podcast. I was feeling like, what am I going to do? Like I finished school for the semester, and I'm a busy bee. I love to just put more things on my plate and stress myself out because I'm crazy. So I wanted to do this podcast, and not only to put something else on my plate, but I needed to make myself feel better, because I'm also one that gets stuck in my head with anxiety and the depression that, sometimes will kind of take over and makes me want to just stay in bed or not talk to anybody. But I found that just talking to people helps me so much, because it just helps you release everything, and it just like you realize so many people are here for you and so many people are going through the same thing. And that's what led me to this podcast, is like all the topics that I want to discuss. It's like so raw. It's so much that's just happening around me, to my friends and to my family. And it's very raw. It gets to me sometimes. I get emotional because I just want to help everybody, and I can't. But I'm hoping that doing this podcast, I can help you guys a little bit. Maybe you heard a sentence or two that changed your day or made you feel better. It might not be the whole podcast, and maybe you skip a couple parts, but maybe you didn't skip that one part that you needed to hear. And I'm glad you didn't. And last but not least is one I struggle with: asking for help. I have to tell myself this too, because I'm one to never ask for help. I'm the type of person that if I like something done right, I do it myself. And I have that problem with everything. I try to put a big activity on myself, and I know how I want it. I know my vision for it. So I'm going to try to do everything myself. And I need to step back and just think, like, I have people that are helping me. Or it doesn't have to be just this situation. It can be anything. It can relate to any of you guys. If you're struggling with something, maybe you needed gas money for the week, ask somebody, It doesn't have to be, you don't have to feel like a burden. Like, you don't have to keep telling yourself, I don't want to bother somebody, or I don't want to put this on them, or anything like that. Just ask for the help if you need it. And man, I'm talking to myself too, because this is hard for me, especially with everything that just went on with school. I needed so much, and I finally did ask for help, and some of you guys did help me out, and I'm so grateful. I'll always be so grateful for everything you guys do for me. Some of you guys don't even talk to me every day, but you still support me, and you still try to push me and do little things that help me go along. And when I finally get to my goal, I'll be able to say I didn't do it alone. Some of you guys helped me, and I'm just super grateful for that. So ask for some help if you need it. Ask for somebody to listen to you, or just an open ear or a shoulder to cry on. If you need to talk to somebody about something, I know I'm here for a lot of you guys, and some of you all talk to me, but don't be afraid to put that on people. If you have something on your mind, or maybe you didn't feel good tonight, or maybe you just got home and you're like, I just really don't feel good today. It doesn't have to be physical, but it can just be mentally and emotionally. You could just say, I don't feel good. Sometimes I'll have a bad day and I don't even know why, but I'll come home and I'll tell Chris, I'm like, I don't feel good. I don't feel good today. I just need a hug. And he hugs me, you gotta find somebody that you can say that to and just go get a hug. I'll hug you. So let me know if you don't feel okay. Hugs are so good. I read something that was like hugs are proven to release stress and anxiety or something like that. And I believe that because when I'm sad, I just need a hug and I just feel better. Take a deep breath and keep going about my day. And that helps a lot. So some little things I would do. These are things that I've tried and done, and it's helped me. I hope it helps you guys, and I've looked up some stuff too that maybe I didn't know. So the first thing I started doing when I started feeling a certain type of way about things, and maybe I was angry a lot and didn't know why, or I was emotional a lot, I got a journal and I wrote in my journal what I felt because I didn't want to put it on anybody. Or sometimes I knew I was overreacting about something and I just didn't want the other person to feel like they're doing something wrong. So I kind of just wrote it down and wrote what I was feeling and why I was feeling that or anything like that. It's kind of like just releasing things, or even writing a letter and burning it or balling it up, or maybe you want to write a couple things to yourself. It's actually a good idea. Or take strips of paper and write some things on those strips of paper that you want to get rid of, and just put them in wherever is fire safe and burn those things and say, you're not going to be that way anymore. You're not going to feel those things anymore. And maybe you do down the road, but at least you're trying not to, you're trying to be stronger. So I would do something like that. I think I actually might take my own advice and do that. Write some things on a strip, burn them, get rid of them. Another thing is get a whiteboard or maybe one of those bulletin boards and write on that whiteboard some goals you have for the week or goals you have for the day. If you have a whiteboard, just write maybe 2 or 3 things to start off, not asking for too much. You don't have to put 5 or 10 goals that you want to complete during the week. Maybe it's just 2 to start off and get your feet going with that. 2 goals, and check them off when you do them during the week. And then you get that satisfaction and you get that feeling of accomplishment, and maybe it doesn't make you feel so bad anymore because you feel like you're moving forward. And if you have a bulletin board, you can take sticky notes or pieces of paper and take those goals and pin them up or write them down or anything like that. And I think I would write them down and pin them up when I accomplish them. I would write them down, put them somewhere, and when I accomplish them, pin them up. So that's kind of like your golden star in middle school. You pin up the goal on the bulletin board once you've gotten it. And watch your bulletin board fill up with all those things you've done, and be proud of yourself. Say, like, even if it's something small, like, I got out of bed today and I showered. Like, some people with depression have really bad depression that they can't even get up, and it's just hard to go about your day. So if you're one of those people, make that sticky note that you got up today and you showered and you ate. It's so important. I used to be one of those people that I did not like to eat. I was like, no, I'm not eating today. I'm going to stay in bed or do anything like that. Just write that sticky note. I ate today. I ate breakfast. I ate lunch. I ate dinner. I had a snack. I talked on the phone with somebody. I gave somebody a hug today. I saw my favorite person. Anything like that. Just small things. And follow up with that with some meditation. Maybe just take that time in a room with some candles or some music, instrumental music, maybe some instrumental piano or guitar, anything like that. Some lights, whatever you like, whatever makes you feel happy and relaxed. Do that and, meditate and just, how about talk to yourself? Tell yourself, I had a good day today. And what made it a good day? Write those things down in your journal, or maybe that's your bulletin board. Maybe say, what made my day good today? And go from there. it's important to kind of talk to yourself and accept that you do need to move forward and accept these things that you feel, and then you can move forward and go about them and how to go about them. As I mentioned, take some small steps, but go for the bigger goals. You don't have to get there in a day or a week or a month. Just take your time and take those steps to whatever goal you have. Take note of people you admire and you don't admire. Take note of the people that make you feel good. And when you finish your week, say, why was this day good? Or why was that day good? Why was I happy? I was around this person, or I was around that person. Take note of that time that you don't feel good, that you go home and you feel like complete crap, and think, who was I around today? Or what did I do? And, maybe evaluate that a little more. Maybe I should stop hanging around this person. When I'm with them, I don't feel too good, and they're my friend. I love hanging with them, but look how you feel after you get home with them. Or maybe you're going to meet up with them and you're just not feeling as excited, or you don't feel happy, or they don't make you feel any better than you started. Look at the mirror and tell yourself you are beautiful, you're handsome, you're the best, anything. Just hype yourself up and make yourself feel good. Live a healthier lifestyle. I was going to say hype style. Not necessarily like you need to eat veggies and drink water every single day and work out, but that's a start. Maybe you had an apple today, maybe you had an orange the next day, maybe you switched from pizza to a chicken wrap or something like that. Go on a walk. Maybe you don't want to walk outside, but go to the mall and walk around the mall. Or maybe the mall's annoying and you don't like people. then outside is for you. Or maybe somewhere quiet. I don't really know. I don't go to these places. But if you can find something like that, or even an art gallery or something, maybe that's relaxing for you. Take some time to, go on a little jog, or maybe you just take a run outside, or I don't know, anything that's active for you, because maybe you're a couch potato and that's okay. You like to watch TV a lot, but get up and go walk around your block or something. Ask yourself some questions, things that, you can write in your journal, and maybe you're thinking about it while you're in traffic, or on Facebook, or browsing through Instagram, or doing dishes, or anything. You can just think, who am I and what do I want? What is something I can do today to make me feel accomplished? What is something I can do today that will benefit me tomorrow or the next week, or anything like that? You can ask yourself, where am I going? There's really no right or wrong here. There's no right question. There's no right or wrong answers. It's kind of just asking yourself, and maybe these are things you can ask yourself while you're doing those things, like washing the dishes or anything. Or maybe you can take the time and write them down in your journal or notepad or whatever. You can say, who am I? And you can write 3 bullet points. I am brave, I'm strong, and I'm caring, anything like that. And then you're going to say, what do I want? I want to be happy. That's your goal. If that's your goal, just write that. Write it in bold and underline it. Make yourself feel that. And what is something that's going to make you feel accomplished? What's something that's going to make you feel good? Maybe it is just cooking something that you've never cooked before, because, you're used to cooking the same things, but you want to try something else today. It can be anything. What's going to benefit you tomorrow? Sitting on the couch or taking a walk? Something like that. Which one is going to benefit you more? I think taking a walk, because we need that. We need that to live till we're old. And then maybe try doing what you love. Maybe you forgot what you love, so take those steps I mentioned before, and once you figure out what you love, maybe it's cooking, or trying, a new experiment in the kitchen, or designing, or web designing, or maybe an instrument, or start decorating your house differently, maybe get new bed sets, something that makes you feel like, relief. Here's a new change to my to my everyday. Maybe you have a new bed set and it just makes you feel good to come back to your room and you're like, oh, I forgot I had this. And maybe something like that makes you feel good. Getting out of your comfort zone. And maybe you like everything to be black and gray and white in your house or something. Try adding like blue pillows or maybe a little coffee table that's different. Or maybe try putting decorations on the wall that you wouldn't really put. Things like that can help you out and kind of change your perspective on things. Maybe your mind and your heart is just tired of seeing the same things. The same routine is making you depressed. I know that's happened to me. I just feel like stuck. Like, man, I'm coming to the same thing over and over. I need some kind of change. And I did. I changed it up. Or you can paint. You can do whatever. Whatever makes you feel better. Maybe wearing something different. Maybe you never wear tank tops because you don't like the way your arms look, or maybe you never wear shorts because you feel like your calves are weird, or whatever it is, try it. Try to put those sneakers on and maybe you feel different. Try to wear that tank top. We're all different shapes and we're all different sizes and we're all different tones, everything. So maybe something you don't like about yourself, the other person will. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm scared to put this. And I'm like, you look great. Stop. You just got to do it. Reconsidering your career and relationships. Maybe you are looking for, that new spot at your job. Maybe you're like, I've been supervisor for a long time, but I want to do this. Or maybe I've been in my position for a long time, but I kind of want to do that. Or maybe you just don't want that job anymore. And you want to do something else. Go do it. Go try, or take a course if you need to, anything like that. Maybe have some friends that they don't really care about you. When you're not around, they talk about you, or maybe they just don't even defend you. They don't have to talk about you, but maybe other people talk about you and they don't even defend you, or they don't say anything like that. Get away from those people. Don't hang with them so much. Maybe they are your friends and it's okay to hang with them, but don't hang with them every single day because they're just going to drain your energy and use it for themselves. That's what they do. Like I said, some people are like leeches. They don't really care. They just stay stuck to you for nothing, just to soak out your energy. And then you're left feeling crappy. Another thing is having those good friends that you know they're good friends. How about trying to talk to them and open up and express how you feel to them? Maybe you're just feeling lost and hopeless and you feel like you don't know what to do. Maybe you just find somebody to talk to and tell them how you feel, and maybe they'll just let you talk, or maybe they'll give you some advice. You never know. People have some good advice to give. Another thing you could do is something crazy. Maybe your job sucks and you hate it and you've been wanting to leave for the longest. Then leave. Quit that job and go find another one that is going to make you happy. Maybe you're going to take a pay cut for like $1 or $2, but you're going to be going to a place that's making you feel better, that's good for you. And that's all that matters, really. You have to embrace being spontaneous. Instead of thinking, why? Think, why not? If somebody says, hey, you want to come grab a drink with me? Don't ask them why. Just think in your head, hey, why not? I might as well. Have that positive characteristic. And it gets hard. You gotta kind of figure out what you want to do and what's right and what's wrong. And you're not always going to do the right thing. I'm not always going to do the right thing. I know that for sure. So I know a lot of you aren't. And a lot of you who are maybe in your late 20s, 27 and 28, 29, you're probably like, yep, been there, done that. And forgive yourself. Say it's okay. It's okay that I did that. I'm going to do better this time. Or it's okay that I didn't go for that opportunity because I'm going to go for the next one. Because dwelling on the past is not healthy. If you're constantly thinking, 2 years ago I did this and that's probably what led me here, you can't think like that. You have to just let it go and go from here. You can't think, how did I get here? You have to just think, how am I going to get out of here? Where am I now and where am I going to be in the future? That goes back to getting those goals, those weekly goals. Or maybe monthly goals or daily goals, whatever. Maybe you need therapy. Therapy is not for crazy people. You don't have to feel like therapy's stupid. Maybe that might help you, or maybe that might just lead you in the right direction that you need to be, because your life's not messed up. Especially if you're in your 20s and you're listening to this, your life is not messed up and you have so much more to do. Sit outside and feel the air. Anything that triggers a positive image, or maybe that triggers an experience that makes you happy, do those things. Try and perform those things on a daily basis. You made your goals for the week and maybe you got to the middle of the week and you're like, oh, I'm not going to get to those goals, and just rip them out or whatever. Don't do that. Do not do that. Just leave them up and try. Try to do it and try your best. And if you don't get to them at the end of the week, say to yourself, how am I going to get to them the next week? Don't say, I didn't get to my goal, I'm not getting anywhere. No. Just say, how am I going to get to them this week? They can carry over, or how about just make new goals? Anything. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. Don't listen to me. Just do what makes you feel happy. We all have a purpose in our lives, but we can give ourselves more purpose. I read this thing that said, when you find yourself, the idea of being lost again will seem impossible. I love that. I've done some research on all these things I'm talking to you guys about. I'm not just going to tell you guys random things and speak on nothing. So I hope you guys appreciate all the things I've said today. Most of the things come from doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists and stuff like that. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of you for taking the step of knowing that you need to do something different. But I want to thank you all for listening today. It was so nice getting to talk about these things, and I even learned so much about all this. And I feel like I'm going to take my own advice and do a couple of these bulletin boards and things like that. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening or day. Please follow me on the social medias I gave in the beginning. On Facebook, it's Spark of the Youth Podcast. And on Instagram, it is Spark Youth Podcast. Give me some feedback on what I can do better and what I can talk about, or what you want to hear. If this helped you or if it didn't, let me know what did and didn't. And it will be a shorter podcast. I made this one longer because I wanted to talk about, the beginning of the podcast and everything I'm going to be doing, all the social media stuff. And I really wanted to get into this topic because it's a good one, and I feel like I needed that too, and maybe you guys needed all that. So, again, thank you for listening. Please tune into next week's. It will be posted on Friday, like I said. Will be posted every Friday. So, share this podcast, share the post. Help me get my count up so that more people who need this can get it. And I hope I've helped somebody, even if it's one person. Bye-bye.